The most important tool in your UPSC preparation is not your books, is not the syllabus. The beauty of PYQs is that it helps us in understanding not only what UPSC demands, but also develop an intuition in the examination to identify the traps and find the elimination techniques. A subtle hint was given by UPSC in 2021. A repetition of that in a full-blown question format came in 22. Brought us back to the question in 2017, which gave us the idea about the source of the question. Now, when we look at the PYQs, it is like looking into a crime scene. Previous year's questions are not about what UPSC has already asked, but in fact, they are about what UPSC will ask. Hello dear aspirants. The most important tool in your UPSC preparation is not your books, is not the syllabus, but is in fact the previous year's questions that UPSC has been asking. Time and again, toppers have told us the importance of previous year's questions. There are so many toppers who always have mentioned about the fact that PYQs or previous year's questions were their blueprint in identifying what exactly UPSC is looking for. The beauty of PYQs is that it helps us in understanding not only what UPSC demands, but also develop an intuition in the examination to identify the traps and find the elimination techniques. In this context, it is very, very important for us to revise and re-revise the previous year's questions, particularly before the prelims examination. Like I said, previous years tell us about the mindset of the UPSC. And not only the mindset, but also what is the boundary of the examination. Generally, people say that this examination can ask you anything under the sun. But that's not a fact. And in fact, most of the toppers will disagree with that statement. They will in fact say that yes, there is some structure in this chaos of UPSC preparation. And that structure is provided to you only by previous year's questions. So let's take a look at some of the examples of how previous year's questions have often repeated themselves, the themes have repeated, and how it acts like a guide, a perfect guide and mentor in your preparation. I will give you some examples from the environment section. In 2021, UPSC asked a question comparing moringa, which is drumsticks, and the tamarind tree. The characteristics of these two trees which have medicinal value. Moringa in fact has now become one of the most sought after drugs, especially in the form of moringa powder. Now if you look carefully in this question, UPSC has asked in 2021 that moringa is a leguminous evergreen tree. So the word leguminous has appeared, which means it is asking whether moringa is a nitrogen fixing plant or not. The very next year, UPSC, this was in 21, the very next year in 2022, UPSC directly asked a question in prelims on which of the following are nitrogen fixing plants. And it does not end here. In 2024, again UPSC asked the same question but in a different format. Rather than asking which of the following are nitrogen fixing plants, UPSC simply asked that which of the following belong to the pea family, which is nothing but again nitrogen fixing plants. Now imagine it's the same concept. A subtle hint was given by UPSC in 2021. A repetition of that in a full-blown question format came in 22, followed by a similar way or a synonym, you can say, was asked in 2024. So time and again, we have seen that UPSC is often repeating themes. But it's not just about themes being repeated. It's not just about questions being repeated. It is also about how you can identify the nitty-gritties or sources of the examination. I'll give you another example. In 2017, UPSC asked a question on climate and clean air coalition. This is a 2017 question which talks about short-lived climate pollutants. Climate and Clean Air Coalition is an international level organization which deals with short-lived climate pollutants. Now, the question of course talks about CCAC, focuses on methane, black carbon and hydrofluorocarbons. This is the question that UPSC asked. Now, let's see in 2023, again UPSC asked, that was in 2017. In 2023, again UPSC asked the question, in the making of how many of the above hydrofluorocarbons are used, or hydrofluorocarbons are used. Now, if you see, the question is asking you about the sources of hydrocarbon, whereas in CCAC question, it was talking about the fact that CCAC deals with hydrofluorocarbons. Now, on the website of Climate and Clean Air Coalition, certain infographics have been given about each of these short-lived climate pollutants. So there is a huge infographic on hydrofluorocarbons which talks about what are the sources of hydrofluorocarbons. So indirectly, the question asked in 2023 brought us back to the question in 2017, which gave us the idea about the source of the question. The source of the question was Climate and Clean Air Coalition website, which has these infographics, which tells us that hydrofluorocarbons are used in cooling agents like refrigerants, it is used in foam agents, it is used in aerosols, it is used in fire extinguishers. And if you see the question that UPSC asked in 2023, the same options have been given. Aerosols, foam agents, fire retardants, but lubricants is not there. And that is exactly what was the answer. So this tells us that the previous year's questions are not only just about repetition of themes or options that normally people think, but it is also a direction into the different kinds of sources, the boundaries that are set by this examination, and the different sources that we have to refer to for our preparation. Let's take another example of sources being directly picked up. Look at this question in 2019. This question talks about Himalayan nettle. And the question is asking, why is there a growing awareness about this plant called Himalayan nettle? Now, Himalayan nettle was covered in the Down to Earth magazine directly. Again, Himalayan nettle, a fiber yielding plant, has become an important livelihood option for the people of the Hindu Kush Himalayas. Now, the question that UPSC simply asked was, what is Himalayan nettle used for? So this gives us an idea that this is one of the sources that UPSC refers to for asking questions. Similarly, the question on waggle dance of honeybees, that which of the following insects perform the waggle dance in order to inform the next of their kin for the source of food. And if you look this carefully, this question was in fact asked in 2023 when the examination was held sometime in June. And on March 11, 2023, the same article had appeared in The Hindu. So, Unlocking Secrets of the Honeybee Dance Language. Now, when we look at the PYQs, it is like looking into a crime scene. Looking into a crime scene when you don't know who the criminal is. When you look into a crime scene and you're trying to find out who the criminal is, you don't directly put blame on an XY person. You first look for the symptoms. You look for the hints, the clues, or the patterns that a criminal might follow. Similarly, UPSC gives you the ability, or the previous year's questions give you the ability to look into the minds of the examination setters, the paper setters. It acts like a compass. It tells you that in what direction you should be looking, what are the different sources you should be referring to, what is the scope of the examination, what are the different elimination techniques that can be applied, what are the different things that UPSC, or different facts or concepts that UPSC can test in the future. Which is why previous year's questions become extremely important in your preparation or short preparation for UPSC prelims examination. Out of curiosity, I happened to ask artificial intelligence that out of 100 questions in the prelims examination, how many questions are inspired directly or indirectly by the UPSC previous year's questions? And the short answer that I received was that at least 60 to 70 questions are inspired by PYQs. Direct concept repetition questions, that means same concept but different wording, almost 25 to 35 questions have been asked. Same theme, same topic repeated is again 20 to 30 questions asked. Logic or framing pattern, again 10 to 15, and about 20 to 30 questions are completely new and unpredictable. Which means what? Which means that out of 100 questions, at least 60 to 70 questions are those which are being inspired, which have been inspired from the previous year's UPSC questions. Rest of the 20-30 gap can be filled with current affairs, can be filled with PT 365, can be filled up with all the contemporary information or knowledge. But this 60 to 70 questions, which actually frames the bulk of your UPSC prelims examination, comes from often repeated PYQs. In this context, I just want to say one thing, that UPSC previous year's questions are not about what UPSC has already asked, but in fact, they are about what UPSC will ask. And in this context, it is very important that we study the UPSC pre-YQ questions very carefully, especially for the last 10 to 15 years. And in order to help you in this initiative, Vision IAS has come up with UPSC PYQ prelims classes, in which each of the faculty members with a vast and varied experience will give you their insights into how different PYQs have been framed, what are the interlinkages, what are the elimination techniques and tricks which are often set by UPSC, how the patterns repeat, and what are on the same sources that UPSC has referred to, what are the current newspaper articles and information dealing with all that. So it is extremely important that you study these PYQs very carefully before the prelims examination, because this is what is going to sail you throughout the journey of UPSC prelims preparation. And like I said initially, toppers time and again have sweared by this strategy that PYQ is in fact the only compass, is the only guiding light that we have for understanding the UPSC examination and for cracking it. On that note, I wish you all the very best. Please do your PYQs very carefully, very ardently and religiously. Thank you very much.